Think you know the world? Think again. We've all grown up hearing certain geography facts that sound totally plausible, but are actually completely wrong. From the heights of the tallest mountains to what you can actually see from outer space, misconceptions are everywhere. Today, we're setting the record straight and debunking 5 massive geography myths that people still believe in 2024. This isn't just about trivia, it's about seeing the world for what it truly is. Grab your virtual passport and clear your mind, because what you thought was true about our planet is about to be challenged. Let's dive into the truth behind these global legends. Number 1 on our list is the Great Wall of China. You've probably heard it a million times. It's the only man-made structure visible from space with the naked eye. Well, NASA astronauts have confirmed that this is simply not true. While the wall is thousands of miles long, it's also quite narrow and built from materials like stone and earth that blend perfectly into the natural mountain landscape. From low Earth orbit, it's almost impossible to see without a high-powered camera lens. In fact, many highways and city lights are much easier to spot from above than this ancient wonder. Everyone knows Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world, right? Well, it depends on how you measure it. While Everest reaches the highest altitude at 29,032 feet above sea level, Mauna Kea in Hawaii is actually taller from base to peak. Mauna Kea stands at over 33,500 feet, but more than half of its massive structure is submerged under the Pacific Ocean. If we're talking about which peak is literally closest to space, that's actually Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. Because the Earth bulges at the equator, Chimborazo's summit sits further from the Earth's center than Everest's. This is one of the most persistent misconceptions in modern geography, referring to Africa as if it's a single country. Africa is the second largest continent on Earth, home to 54 distinct sovereign nations. It's a massive landmass that is large enough to fit the United States, China, India, and most of Europe within its borders simultaneously. With over 1.4 billion people and thousands of different languages and cultures, calling it a country ignores the incredible diversity and vast scale of an entire continent. It's time we recognize the unique identity of each of these 54 nations. Have you ever been told that the Nile is the only river in the world that flows north? It's a surprisingly common myth, but basic physics tells a different story. Rivers don't care about the compass, they simply flow downhill due to gravity. While the Nile is the most famous northward flowing river, it's far from the only one. Canada's Mackenzie River flows north into the Arctic Ocean, and the St. Johns River in Florida also flows north. In fact, there are dozens of major rivers across every continent that follow a northward path based on the local topography and elevation. Have you ever been told that the Nile is the only river in the world that flows north? It's a surprisingly common myth, but basic physics tells a different story. Rivers don't care about the compass, they simply flow downhill due to gravity. While the Nile is the most famous northward flowing river, it's far from the only one. Canada's Mackenzie River flows north into the Arctic Ocean, and the St. Johns River in Florida also flows north. In fact, there are dozens of major rivers across every continent that follow a northward path based on the local topography and elevation. Why do standard maps make Greenland look as big as Africa? This is the result of the Mercator projection, designed in 1569 for sea navigation. Because it flattens a sphere onto a cylinder, it stretches areas further from the equator. In reality, Africa is 14 times larger than Greenland. You could fit Greenland into Africa many times over. This visual distortion has shaped our global perspective for centuries, leading many to underestimate the true size of the Southern Hemisphere. Using true size maps reveals a world where the continents look very different than what we saw in our school textbooks. Geography is a lot more complex and surprising than the trivia games might lead you to believe. Whether it's mountains hidden under the sea or rainy cities that are actually quite dry, the world is full of wonders that defy common myths. Debunking these misconceptions helps us appreciate the true scale and fascinating complexity of our planet. Thanks for joining us on this journey to find the truth. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more travel and geography insights. Keep questioning what you know and keep exploring the real world.